Dun 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 dun. Haha. Huh? Huh?
Klassenkampfsport.
Herzlich willkommen bei einem neuen Klassenkampfsport. Wir haben diesmal einen alten Freund zu Gast. Ihr kennt alle noch Jason von This is Revolution Podcast. Wir waren öfter schon bei denen zu Gast. Sie war bei uns und Jason hat mit uns auch die großartige Folge Metal und Politics gemacht. Hi Jason, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing
Rumor has it that you're doing a movie.
I am. I'm finishing up a feature-length video essay documentary that I've been working on for the better part of a year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if you had to translate it.
No. I don't translate. They can. Let's have it in English.
They'll figure it out. Okay.
I'm just gonna tell them afterwards. Just to donate as much as they can.
Gotcha. Well, for the better part of a year, I've been working on a video essay project that turned into a feature-length documentary. When I usually write these scripts out for video essays, they're a little under 2,000 words. By the time I was finished with this script, it was about 10,000 words. And I had done 5 or 6 kind of longer video essays the past year. And a young filmmaker had hit me up literally on chance, not knowing that I would respond to the message. It's like, hey, I'm a big fan of the show. I like what you do film wise. And I'd love to help you with any future projects. And I was like, well, hey, I got this thing that I'm too burnt out to do. So if you can help me, that'd be great. So now we're coming into the final stretches of it. And we're doing some crowdfunding for it. So we can finally get it done.
When I read the title of the movie, I had to Google it because in German popular culture, we did have wrestling, and I'm spoiling it a little bit, but never in the detail and in the depth of what you guys had. So the name of the video essay is Kayfabe. Do I pronounce it correctly? Okay. What the hell is Kayfabe?
Kayfabe is actually an old vaudeville, which is kind of a turn of the 19th century, I guess 20th century traveling show. Before we had moving pictures, we had live performances that traveled, and you had magicians and feats of strength and comedy and all that good stuff, right? And when you had like the bearded lady,
Mm-hmm.
breaking kayfabe is letting everyone know that the bearded lady's beard is glued on. And wrestling is like that similar thing, and pro wrestling, and this might be, next to hip hop, maybe the greatest export US culture. You don't let people in on the fact that it's fake. So breaking kayfabe is kind of breaking the routine. So if you're a good guy, or a baby face, as they call it in pro wrestling,
Mm-hmm.
you don't hang out with the heel where people can see you, and the heel is a villain.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little different now, but back in the day, you could get beat up for breaking, you can get fired for breaking kayfabe. And I use pro wrestling kind of to explain the way we digest media in this modern moment. I say that we live in the kind of the era of the influencer, and influencer culture is extremely prevalent, and it has a lot to do with social media networks and the response that we want to get from social media networks when we say anything. Having even a picture of our child, get hundreds of likes and makes us feel like a better parent. So it's an interesting time to be in, especially when we look at the political figures that are rising. I mean, we can start in Italy with Berlusconi and draw a direct line to Donald Trump.
And also to wrestling.
Yes, to wrestling. Because it's the reason why I use wrestling is because we see figures like we see wrestling, good guys and bad guys. You know what I mean? And there is not a lot of nuance, and that's what shows like your show, my show is for, is to kind of explain the nuance of the world, because mainstream media, and I really don't care where you are in the world, pretty much is going to give it to you like pro wrestling. Here's our perceived good guy, here's the bad guy, and they're going to duke it out. And political figures play on that as well, especially in the US context.
Yeah, well, also worldwide. I mean, if Putin and Zelensky would just duke it out in a ring, I think the world would be a better place.
People would love that. I mean, I guess there's no other way to talk about kayfabe better than maybe the current situation in the Ukraine, where everyone's just playing their part.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that Joe Biden and Zelensky get scripts from some mighty power. It's just that there's just parts people play, almost inherently. And using pro wrestling is kind of a way to look at how that works, and the rise of cable news as well.
You mean like Fox and all that stuff?
Fox and CNN, more so just kind of the rise of news shows. Like, I go all the way back to the 40s and 50s, when there was only 3 networks in the United States. And of those networks, news was going to be a loss leader for them. It was not going to be financially advantageous, but to be good corporate citizens, they produced news programs also to compete with physical newspapers, which were still extremely popular at the time. And that didn't really get that good ratings. And when 60 Minutes gets created, which is a news program that I believe is still running in the US, I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head, that really changes the way we look at even news, because they're like, how can we produce news but it's engaging to people, and it doesn't have to be current. It could be evergreen stories, celebrity gossip, true crime. And if you look at kind of the rise of these kinds of shows in the US, and then look at why someone like Ted Turner, who was already a billionaire, said, I'm going to take a chance on still a bit of a loss leader, which is news, and have a 24-hour news network, and here we are 40 years later. It looks like it worked out for him all right. And Murdoch as well, who followed suit with Fox News and then MSNBC, and there's tons of 24-hour news networks now. But before, that was kind of a frowned upon thing, mainly because what happens 24 hours a day? Like, you can't chase car accidents 24 hours a day. But they found a way to create personalities within the news paradigm.
I hated Anchorman too, but they kind of put that aspect a little bit in. There was not too stupid. The rest was, but this is exactly about how you move on from like news anchors to this, ongoing, not scripted, but almost feeling like scripted reality weaving.
Yeah. It and again goes back to the pro wrestling thing, which kind of always follows the current moment. In the 80s, when I grew up with United States, WWF wrestling, the characters are very indicative of the Cold War. Hulk Hogan is fighting for American liberty and freedom, and there's evil Russian characters. There's a terrorist in the Iron Sheik. I didn't know as a little boy that all these guys were friends, and all these things were, go ahead.
Yeah, the first time that I actually watched wrestling, I don't know which WrestleMania it was, but the finale of it, I was like 6 or 7 years old. It was Hulk Hogan fighting Sergeant Slaughter, who had a ring assistant who was a Saddam Hussein double. And it looked really bad for the Hulkster, and he got color and everything, and I was like, oh, Hulk's gonna lose. And my dad was like, you really think that they're gonna put Saddam Hussein on WrestleMania and have him win? Like, is that what you think? I was like, is this fake?
Right? What do you mean?
Yeah, and then the Hulkster wiped his bloody face with the American flag, like the Star Spangled Banner, as a towel to remove the blood from his face, and then he just kicked the shit out of Sergeant Slaughter, and the world was great again.
And America wins again, right?
Yeah, of course.
And America wins again. So, it's silly. we had a wrestler on the other day. We had Jean Bajelan's brother, Dar Diablo, on, who actually is a pro wrestler in the United Kingdom. And we were talking about storylines. And when you think about kind of the modern contemporary moment of media, I just published a piece in Sublation magazine about this term grifter that gets used a lot in the West for kind of left media I don't like. To me, there's a term between grifter and, market share and someone chasing part of the market share. I live in a place where I actually do encounter real con men on a daily basis. I also, understand there's a massive difference between a con man and person that's chasing market share. You can say the same thing about music. Is Poison, the American hair band from '87, are they con men, or are they people that were chasing market share that just want to do rock and roll? I'm sure they would have rather done that stuff without spandex and hairspray and lipstick, but it was what was hot at the time. That's what
they needed to get noticed.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that do that kind of stuff where they might believe something to a certain degree, like, hey, I am a socialist, left, whatever ist you want to put on the back of your name. But if they mentioned maybe inner left drama, they see those views go up. And it's, oh, wow, okay, maybe we should do a whole thing on inner left drama. Our views went up and people gave us super chats and now we got patrons, and it's driven by the market more than it's driven by the need to deceive you, because it's also not a lot of money. I mean, you exist in this world as well. There's just not a lot of money to be made in the left.
No, we had the break even this year, so now for the first time we don't spend more money than we get.
High five. That's the struggle, right? Like, can you even break even because you don't have big time donors that are paying you to push a narrative? That's why people on the left's narrative jumps all over the place, because there really is there's no money getting funneled into them, like what's that guy, Ben Shapiro, right, Dave Rubin, all these people that actually do get on right-wing networks and get budgets and studios. It's very
push narratives.
It's very, very different. So that article is out right now on Sublation.
Okay. So normally in this segment we like kind of like show people that want some support. So why do you need some support?
Oh, I mean, I'll tell you the guy's honest truth. We did as much as I did as much as I could do for free, and now I need to get the young man that's helping me put it together. I need to get him to take days off work and come down here to Mexico so we can just finish up the final editing, do some voiceovers, do a little bit more recording. And, that costs money because people have bills they have to pay.
So you set up some crowdfunding or what?
Set up a crowdfunding. It was hard for me to do because I don't like doing crowdfunding. We kind of exist in a charity-based environment as it is. It took me, I'll be seriously honest with you, Dan. It took me 4 months to finally do it, of like prodding. And I did walk away from some donor money because I wanted to have full control. It could be totally independent. So this is the route that we're going to be able to stay independent and not have anybody going, well, can you change that a little bit? Or maybe we want you to push this, or could you add this in there? So
I feel you. Like when we started out very, very early on, there were some magazines that were like, hey, if you put up a promotion link in every episode and stuff like that. And we were like, it would actually be helpful money-wise, but nope. Right? Doesn't feel good.
Because we did it for a little bit, and we really didn't get that much. Pascal and I did a show for the real news for a while, and we didn't get a lot of pushback at all, to be honest with you. They were actually really, really nice and professional. The only thing was, you'd have to have meetings afterwards about maybe some things you said. Make sure you don't stray too far a certain way. And it's not really a knock on them. Again, it's about, there's a large donor base. This is an extremely professional show, and they don't want these two douchebags to piss off people that are supporting the show. So, I can only respect that. But I just didn't, with this project, as long as I had been working on it with the young man, kind of putting it together with the images. He's a lot better than me. I don't know if you're going to be able to show it. There's a trailer in the Indiegogo campaign as well that he put together that, of course, you hear me narrating, and really gets you ready for what we're going to do, what you're going to see. So I'm excited about it. I saw the first rough draft in LA a few months ago, and I was like, wow, I can't believe I said all those things.
Nice. No, we're gonna put the trailer right after the interview.
Oh, don't.
So people know what they're asked to donate for. Cool. Awesome. Jason, it's been great talking to you again. We should do this more often.
Don't be a stranger. I know the time zone's a little bit of a bitch, but don't be a stranger. I love you guys.
Yeah. Same here. Give all the other peeps at TIR my best. Give Pascal a special hug to calm him down a little bit. Is he still that angry?
I will do that.
Okay, cool. So it's been a pleasure. We're going to put the link in the description below and are going to ask all of our audience to look at it and show some love to you guys and Kayfabe.
Oh, I want to add one thing.
Yes.
Another thing about this that's going to be different is we're not going to put it on any platform. We're actually going to take it and do live screenings with it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, all over the place. Any place that wants to show it. So if they want to see it in Berlin, we'll go do it in Berlin.
Oh, let's stay in touch about that.
I'm being very, very serious. Nice. This is, I don't have books behind me, right? I have all the tour spots, so I'm no stranger to cheap travel and fun tour stories. So let's do it.
Cool. Looking forward to it. Take care, man, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Leute, wir brauchen eure Hilfe. Wenn euch dieses Video gefallen hat, klickt auf Like, abonniert den Kanal und vergesst nicht das Glöckchen zu drücken, damit ihr benachrichtigt werdet, wenn wir neuen Content droppen.
Außerdem solltet ihr uns überall folgen, wo wir verfügbar sind. Das ist Facebook, Instagram, Twitter und Twitch. Und wenn wir irgendwelche Ankündigungen machen oder Posts, dann shared, was das Zeug hält. Gebt uns all eure Liebe.
Wir haben mittlerweile ziemlich signifikante Kosten. Wenn ihr es euch irgendwie leisten könnt, unterstützt uns doch auf Patreon. Dann kommt ihr auch in den Genuss verschiedener Vorteile, wie zum Beispiel Zugang zu unserer Discord-Community oder Zugang zu den ultra-geheimen Patreon-Episoden, die wir dort posten. Außerdem könnt ihr uns natürlich auch über PayPal Spenden zukommen lassen.
Außerdem haben wir mittlerweile einen eigenen Online-Shop. Das heißt, wenn ihr euch immer noch fragt, was ihr euren Lieben zu Weihnachten, Ostern oder sonst wie schenken könnt, geht dorthin und kauft duftes Merch.
Alle Links dazu hier in der Beschreibung oder auch auf unserer Webseite 99zu1.de.
Vielen Dank fürs Dabeisein, danke für die Unterstützung und wir sehen uns in diesem Theater.